Welcome back, thriller enthusiasts, to another episode of Thriller Talks. Today, we're diving into a spine-chilling tale of guilt, revenge, and unrelenting psychological tension. Inspired by the haunting film, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, this story will leave you questioning the boundaries of morality, justice, and sacrifice. As we unravel this twisted narrative, prepare for a descent into a world where the lines between right and wrong blur, and no one is safe. The Killing of a Sacred Deer is a psychological thriller that haunts with its unsettling atmosphere, and today, we're taking that intensity to a new level. Let's explore the dark undercurrents of a seemingly perfect family and the horrifying price they must pay for a past sin. In a suburban home, nestled between perfectly manicured lawns and pristine white fences, lives the picture-perfect family. Tiger, a successful surgeon, seems to have it all. A luxurious home, a beautiful wife, Nicole, and two children who, by all appearances, lead ordinary lives. On the outside, Tiger is the ideal family man, but hidden beneath his polished exterior is a man burdened by guilt. A guilt that stems from a mistake long buried in the recesses of his past. Years ago, Tiger made a fatal error during a surgical procedure. The patient, a man who had become like family to him, died on the operating table. Not from a complication, but due to Tiger's own negligence. The man's son, Martin, was just a child at the time, but now Martin is a young man, and he has never forgotten what happened. The unspoken truth between him and Tiger festers, an unhealed wound that only grows deeper with time. Tiger's guilt pushes him to meet Martin secretly. They meet in parks, coffee shops, and even Tiger's own private office. With every interaction, Tiger feels the weight of his crime pressing down on him. Yet, he convinces himself that helping Martin, buying him gifts, offering his support, might atone for his past mistakes. But Martin's presence isn't a mere act of seeking sympathy. It's a quiet, deliberate form of manipulation. One evening, Tiger decides to invite Martin to his home, hoping to ease the boy's grief with his charity. He feels a deep need to make amends, to clear the air. But Nicole, ever the skeptic, isn't convinced by Tiger's sudden concern for Martin. She knows something isn't quite right. She's watched her husband change over the years, becoming more distant, more preoccupied with some unspoken burden. Martin arrives at their home, presenting himself as a quiet, polite young man, one who seems too mature for his age. He brings small gifts for the family, flowers for Nicole, a toy for Tuan, and a book for Tuna. At first glance, he seems like any other guest, respectful and well-mannered. But there's something in his eyes, a coldness that doesn't quite match the image of a grieving son. The family sits down for dinner. The atmosphere is strained. Martin, though polite, doesn't engage in small talk the way others might. Instead, he listens attentively, observing, calculating. Tiger tries his best to act normal, but he can't shake the feeling that Martin is studying him, waiting for something. The dinner proceeds with an eerie sense of unease hanging in the air. Nicole, despite her warm reception, begins to feel uncomfortable with Martin's presence. The next day, Martin comes by again, this time alone. He invites Tiger to his house, claiming he has something important to discuss. The visit takes an unexpected turn when Martin's mother isn't home. The house is quiet, too quiet. As Tiger walks through the rooms, he notices unsettling details. Photographs of Martin with his late father, family memories that feel invasive, as though he's trespassing in a world he should never have entered. They sit down to watch a film, an old black and white classic that Martin insists is his father's favorite. As the film plays, Martin speaks about the happiest memories he has of watching movies with his father. Tiger begins to feel uncomfortable, as though the young boy is trying to draw him into a twisted version of his own guilt. It's clear that Martin isn't just grieving, he's seeking something more. He's seeking justice, and he's willing to go to any lengths to get it. As the film ends, Martin casually mentions how his father's death wasn't an accident. He hints at the connection between Tiger and the tragedy. Tiger is caught off guard. He tries to deflect, but Martin's eyes don't waver. The boy knows, and now so does Tiger. Back at home, things take a darker turn. Tuan, Tiger's young son, falls mysteriously ill. At first it seems like a minor ailment, fatigue, weakness, perhaps even a common cold. But as the days pass, Tuan's condition worsens. He is unable to walk, his legs become numb, and he can no longer move his body. His face is gaunt, his skin pale, and his condition baffles the doctors. Tiger, desperate for answers, arranges for specialists to examine Tuan. Tests come back inconclusive. There's no explanation for his paralysis. His vital signs are normal, yet he remains unable to move. The more Tiger investigates, the more the situation becomes inexplicable. It's as if Tuan's body is rejecting life itself. That's when Martin pays another visit. His words are calm, but they send a chill down Tiger's spine. He reveals the truth. Tuan's illness is no accident. It's part of a larger plan, a punishment, a curse, set in motion by the death of his father. Tiger is forced to face a horrific reality. To save his son, he must make a terrible choice. Martin presents Tiger with an impossible ultimatum. One family member must die to break the curse. The words hang in the air, heavy with the promise of doom. Martin's expression remains neutral, almost clinical. He doesn't show anger or sadness, just a cold, detached desire for justice. Tiger is horrified, but deep down, he knows that this is not just about a sick child. It's about his past, about the guilt that has been gnawing at him for years. Tiger tries to deny Martin's demand. He goes through the motions, hoping that things will return to normal, but the truth is undeniable. Every day that passes, Tuan's condition worsens. Tiger begins to lose his grip on reality. He questions whether Martin has some supernatural power, some unexplainable control over their lives. But it doesn't matter. The curse won't lift, the illness won't end, and the clock is ticking. Tiger spirals into madness. He cannot make the choice, cannot fathom the idea of sacrificing his own child. He seeks refuge in denial, hoping the situation will resolve itself. But as the days pass, his family becomes increasingly aware that something is terribly wrong. Nicole notices Tiger's strange behavior, his obsession with Martin, his increasing paranoia. She begins to piece things together. She confronts Tiger, demanding to know the truth. At first, Tiger tries to protect her from the horror he's living. But the truth is inescapable. He finally admits what happened, that he was responsible for Martin's father's death, and that Martin has come for revenge. Nicole is horrified, but she refuses to accept the idea that their son must die to break the curse. She won't believe it. But deep down, they both know that there's no escape. As the family faces its darkest moment, Tiger is left with a heart-wrenching decision. The weight of his guilt crushes him. He can't undo the past, but he can end the suffering. In a moment of desperation, he chooses. With trembling hands, he prepares to make the ultimate sacrifice. Nicole watches in disbelief as Tiger makes the agonizing decision. But as he pulls the trigger, something unexpected happens. The curse lifts, but at a staggering cost. Tuan is gone. The family is destroyed. Tiger's soul is lost in the abyss of guilt and grief. In the end, Tiger's attempt to escape his past, to atone for his sins, only leads to further devastation. His family is shattered, and the price of his mistake is paid in blood. The darkness of his actions has consumed him, and there's no redemption to be found. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of psychological horror. If you enjoyed this tale of revenge, guilt, and moral ambiguity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more thrilling stories. Until next time, remember that sometimes the price of atonement is far darker than we ever imagine.